you'd like to join the party.
Yeah, exactly.
You missed the singing. Okay, you can right by that mic. That's perfect.
That's perfect. Perfect.
Okay.
So, good afternoon. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Jeff Stewart, and to my left is...
I'm Jason Montgomery.
And we are excited to be with you here today in Atlanta. Today we'll be walking through Dynamics SL 2015, showing you lots of screenshots and a few live demos of the new features that are available to you in SL 2015. Now, as we go through this, along from us trying to be silly on stage and keeping your attention, we are okay with you asking us questions, catching our eye. If we see that we are running late, we will ask if we could move your question to the parking lot if we feel that we need to continue to move. So we wanted to let you know the rules of engagement. The first is to have fun. Secondly, to understand the great things in 2015 so you are ready to, of course, upgrade on day one when SL 2015 releases. We all know you will be doing that, correct? You say no, Cindy. I do not understand this.
Okay.
All right. Well,
moving on.
We have that. Moving on. Now, as we showed you this morning, our roadmap. Two things are happening this year and will continue to happen this year. So, the next store is a great session talking about our web apps, which we're releasing later this month. The next is the second half of this year, where we'll be releasing the SL 2015 release. So please note, lots of things going on, and as you'll hear about in the web apps, that will become more of a 6-month cyclical release. So we will continue to add more web apps to the product as well. Next version of SL, roughly 2016 time frame, 2017 timeframe, based on whether we come up with feature packs. Of course, if you come up with a feature pack which adds new features, it does extend usually the time that we do that. But that is something that we are going for. With that, we're going to start off. And Jason, will you start us?
I will. We're going 0 to 60, 2.5. We're going to my favorite one. This is something that we all know we lost in 2011. Boo-hoo. We were very sad. Could no longer email from your preview. We saw it a little bit this morning. But it's back in 2015, better than ever, better than before, because now not only can you email your Crystal Report previews, but you can do it from SSRS as well. So very excited to have that feature back. A lot of businesses use that intensively, like daily, hourly. So it's a very important feature that we're happy to add back into the product.
Now, as that feature was gone, that wasn't a feature that we purposely took away from you. It's something that the underlying report company decided that they were no longer going to support. So we are very happy and glad to our development department who took it upon themselves to create a brand new way to interface with it and adding these two icons back. Are we happy about this? Yes. Excellent. There, we are done with our presentation.
Thank you for coming.
This is all the reason you need to go to 2015, as we know, is for this feature. Is that correct?
I don't think that's right, Jeff.
That's not right.
No, there's
okay.
more.
There's more. Okay. Next, as you saw this morning with web apps, doing your time, expense, even the new Project Analyst being available on your tablet or smartphone. We're going to go for the same type of idea with your reports. So what we're going to be adding is the ability to go to a web app type of interface, go to a place where you can have that similar ROI experience where you can sort and select and choose what you want to see and be able to review that report right on your device. So we're continuing to take things from the rich client and expand them out, in this case, to your web apps. The big thing about this is we're not, right now you might say, but Jeff, I can do this in the business portal. And I would say you are correct. You have a lot of that functionality already. But as we know with the business portal, what that does is that limits you to where you can access that. You need to be on some type of Windows-type machine. You need to be on Internet Explorer, and you might have finagled it to get somewhere else. But generally, that's what we support. Now, you want this type of information to be able to be presented wherever you need it, whether it's on your tablet or your smartphone, or of course supporting you on your desktop as well. So we are excited to say that with SL 2015, we'll be able to access reports from your mobile device.
Awesome.
Awesome. Good stuff.
All right, so next, Jeff, the sign-on enhancement. This is, it seems like a small thing, but it's a pretty big deal to me. I mean, we have multiple companies in my company's database, and I got to tell you, I don't even know what half of them are. I don't know. I don't want to see them when I'm logging into SL. I only need to see my company. I only belong to one.
That's it? Just one?
Just one. I'm a simple man, Jeff. So I don't
Okay.
want to see all the other clutter. Just give me my company. So now you're only going to see companies that you have access rights to when you sign on to SL.
What do we say to this one? Yes?
Are you going to say
Yeah.
huzzah again, or are you going to make them say huzzah?
I'll do it later.
Okay.
I'll hold them for now. So yes, finally, you have that ability. Think about all the things we've added, like the ability in SL 2015 to remove the all modules, where you had to, yes, I gave you access rights to just these screens, but the all modules would let you see everything. Well, now we can hide that and get rid of that. Now when you log in, you only see the company. What a wonderful thing that we've added.
Fantastic.
Yes, excellent, excellent. Next, we have another enhancement around reporting. Now, right now, if you had the report control maintenance screen open, can someone answer me? How many different report formats can I create? 8.
8 is correct.
Who said 6?
Oh, it was close. You were close. You were very close.
Very close.
Very close.
Very close.
only-
But I'm happy to say now that the number now is
8, 9,
unlimited.
10.
Unlimited, Jason.
Whoa.
That means we can have the JMS report and the JM report. JMS being mine, JM
JM?
being yours. I didn't know your middle name. I apologize.
It's S. Isn't that weird?
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. No wonder
Huh.
we work so well together.
Don't you give me that look.
All right. Next.
All right. So sticking with ROI, Jeff.
Okay.
This is another cool little feature we added. We got a new screen allowing you to set the default report format for any report for any company. So if you have unlimited, if you have 99, 100, 107
I'm going to do that.
report formats, and there's one that you particularly use quite often, you can set the default here, and then when you go to open that report, it's going to first look at the company you're logged in, and then it's going to see if it finds that report in this table. And if it does, it's going to load. It's going to load
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at something
the
else.
report format for that company. Isn't that something? Very nice.
Nice. Do we like this?
I like it.
Excellent. We love your feedback. That makes us understand that you actually understand what we're saying. And we're not just standing up for ourselves, which we usually do. The next feature that we have, when Quick Query became available, one of the things that people loved most about Quick Query was the fact that when you were looking up information, you're looking at the names of fields that actually mean something to you. You know, accounts, sub-accounts. Everyone loved it. I too love it and continue to use it. So the question was, okay, putting it back on us, can't you do something for me in the ROI screen? And I am very happy to say that we have added metadata back to this. So what does this mean for you? So that means when you are in a report, like the chart of accounts report, and you put your cursor on the field, and you do an F3, no longer will it just show you the account type. You will see first the name of the field, which you've had before. You will have a description, an English description of the field and the information so you can actually understand. We'll skip the source for a second, and then it will tell you if that report is actually included on the report. That field on the report, yes, it's going to say yes. If not, it's going to say no. What do you say about that, huh?
Pretty cool.
We're all about interacting. Yes, awesome, Jeff. So that's great for that, but what about those lovely views? I mean, I'm a big fan of VR_01610A. I know about you. Who's a big fan of that one? Raise my hands.
It's a good one.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Paige. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Big fan of it. But again, what does that mean? Again, we have your description. But even better, where the heck did that come from? Well, we have a source field. When you made a view is just taking a bunch of different fields and merging them together in one view of all those different tables and fields. Now we actually have the source field. Wonderful, wonderful. That makes it make a lot more sense to me. Now, even more important, the question should be in your mind, well, what if I create my own custom report using these same SL tables? Will it work for me? And I'm happy to say that yes. So your custom crystal reports, If you're using fields that are built into Dynamics SL already, your custom reports will then inherit this functionality. What say you?
All right. Oh, Gail's got
Yes,
a
Gail.
question.
Yes. There will be a way when SL 2015 releases that we will give you information on adding your own metadata at that time. Is that okay to say that, Ruth Ann? Okay. All right, so that is. So right now, but that's something we will provide to you. Excellent, excellent. The next is upgrading custom reports, keeping in the reporting realm. When you move from Dynamics SL 2011 up to 2015, one of the things that, of course, we're always going to ask you to do is to back up your database and also back up things like your report control tables. We do not tell you to change that practice, but one of the things that will be changing with the upgrade process is the first thing that the upgrade process used to do is blow away the report control table. So any custom report controls that you had in there would get removed, and then it would rebuild it based on the latest and greatest information. I'm happy to say that that has changed here with 2015. That means that we still want you to do a backup, but it means that when it goes ahead and starts, it does not blow away your custom report files. So they stay in the system, and then it rebuilds on top of that. So now we won't have to lose them every time you move up. Yes?
Ah, lots of head
Yeah.
fakes. Yeah. That's
Excellent.
a good one.
Excellent. It's a good one. I like that one. Jason?
All right, Project Multi-Company. So there are some enhancements around this. Now, we're all familiar with the company ID being found in screens like the project maintenance screen, the employee resource maintenance screen, but we didn't really use those company IDs for anything in particular. So we were able to change that, and so now when you log in to a specific company, that company will allow you to only see the projects that are in that company. So if you're in company ABC, you're only going to see ABC
You jumped ahead.
projects.
You jumped ahead on me. Okay, let me get back to that.
So what was I? Oh, multi-company. Yeah.
But you skipped the first one, but that's okay. So
All right.
start with your thing again, because I'm trying to catch up with you, my friend.
All right. So, well,
Okay, we're good.
we're talking about the
When you go-
ability to see only your projects.
So today, when I log into SL today and I do a lookup on on the PV on my project, what am I going to see?
What are you going to see? You're going to see every project in the database, right? Right. Is that helpful? No. But, Jeff, what can we do about that?
Well, for one, obviously, we're going to add in the field so you understand what you're seeing. But more importantly, when you do your PV, it is going to look and say, Jason, you only have access rights to the project maintenance screen in CBS.
Right.
You don't have it in company ABC or DEF. So when you do your lookup, you will only see those projects that are in the company that you have access rights to.
Sweet.
Good?
That's great.
Very good.
But going back, Jeff.
Good. I apologize for jumping ahead.
Yeah, please don't do that again.
Sorry about that.
Processing screens. You know, when you're logged into a company, this is what we're all used to seeing. You have to be logged into the company to run anything like the allocation processor. And the button says allocate company CBS. Well, wouldn't it be great, Jeff, if we could allocate for any specific company, or maybe even all companies? Huh? Regardless of which one I'm logged into? Jeff, can we see that? Boom. Okay? So now you're able to select a specific company ID and allocate it regardless of which company you're logged into, or you're able to do it for all. Now this goes on further, Jeff, doesn't it?
It does?
I believe it does.
Okay.
Do you guys remember in ROI there's a little like a company selection tab? Do you remember that? And I don't know if you know this or not. I don't know if you ever tried to use that, but it really didn't do a whole lot for us in 2011.
For project reports.
For project reports.
Oh, okay, yes.
Really didn't do a lot. Now it does. So we're also extending that into the reports so that when you select a specific company, your report is only going to select that specific company. Huh?
Good.
Isn't that something?
Excellent. Any questions on what we've shown so far? Yes? We are good? Yes, question.
Can you select individual companies
You can pick one company at a time, but you could change it, from your base, from CBS to another one at a time, or you run it for all of them, yes. Any other questions? Anything on reporting? God, we are good. Must be really... Hey, Jason, you should tell me about security. Oh, no, wait a second, you already did.
I did, yeah, I mentioned that.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Well, then let me, if I could,
Please do.
if I may, chime in on another enhancement around multi-currency. Now, right now you have the ability to define a different currency for your project from your database. But in the tables in the background, in the PJ tables in the background, it was only storing everything in your company-based currency. So even though you've chosen, I'd like to do this in Canadian, it's still storing in the back end if your base currency is US in US dollars. So if you truly wanted to be able to process a project and have its base currency be something like Canadian or yen, insert your favorite there. What you would have to do right now is create a separate application database, set the base currency to whatever you need it to be, and then set up your project inside of that specific application database. That's a lot. It's a lot that you really have to do. Well, we are very excited to say, again, these fields of currency for the GL setup as well as for the project maintenance screen, again, they've been there, but a lot of time for informational purposes. Now we are happy to say with 2015 that these actually do something for us. And what it means is that when you set a currency for your project, it will store in the PJ trend tables the currency, base currency for the project, as well as the base currency for your company as well in your transaction lines. A very, very big change to the way that it works. So you can see the example here that we can have our projects, we can have our company ID, our company currency be one thing, our project can be different, and of course we can also invoice and do our subcontractors in different currencies as well. Very, very huge. Now these things, though sounding simple, really encompass the multi-company and the multi-currency really encompass a huge part of the core Microsoft project area. We are very, very excited and think that you will get some great use and see some great use going forward. Yes?
Quick question. Doing multi-currency projects, will budgets be tracked in the project currency and will fixed price billings then rise to percentage billings based on that project budgets?
The question was around, let me see if I can say it right. The first question was around budgeting, if I heard you correctly. Will the budgeting be in the currency of the project? Yeah. Yes. Yes, it will. The second one, for the invoice billing, you've always had the ability to set it to whatever you wanted it to be. So that continues.
The base currency to the foreign currency, which would always cause rounding errors, but will it now allow you to say, compare actuals in the project currency against the budget in the project currency?
Yes, yes, it will do that. So there was questioning about being able to convert it and to the rounding, and I'm going to totally mess it up. But yes, the answer is yes, it is doing that. We had another question, I think. All right. Well, then I thought wrong. Excellent. So big, big changes. We're very, very excited about what development has been able to do for SL 2015 around the project area. As you can tell, area we continue to invest and have great success with. Jason, please take me away to the next one.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about project sales tax. So we all know that in the past, or currently, the sales tax is sent over to the project at the document level.
So what does that mean, the project in the header area?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
But I had different project lines. Each project line, different.
Yeah, different. But all the taxes all went at the document level.
Uh-huh.
Right? So what does that mean? That all your taxes, that hits your default task on the project. That's not great. But now, in 2015, we're moving that tax down to the transaction level where the individual tasks exist so that you're now able to get those taxes hitting the project and the task that those taxes should be applied to. How about that? Huh?
Yes.
Gail loves it.
Thank you,
She's
Gail.
got a comment.
This will let me at last use AP sales and use tax. Because that's what's been preventing us from being able to do sales and use tax. Because it didn't take the taxes
So Gail says, because the fact that we have always done it at a document header level, she has not been able to use the sales tax. It's been not very...
Sales use tax.
Sales use tax, excuse me. So now that we have this, she's able to track it at the detail line that is actually flowing over, that she is now in a better and wonderful position, and we'll start using it, which we love to hear that.
Right.
We love to hear that. Thank you, Gail.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It was all Jason actually did it.
have full, yep,
It's you?
that was me. I mean,
Oh, I'm sorry, Ruth Ann. I mean,
Ruth
it
Ann
was
was all
Ruth
over
Ann's
that,
team. Sorry.
for sure.
Sorry. All right. The next new feature was around basic resource planning. What we mean by this is already in Dynamics SL, we have our projects, we have our tasks. We assign resources to these projects and tasks. We have the estimated days and hours that we think you'll be using against this. Wow. That sounds like pretty much to me like basic resource planning right there already. Now, there's no screen in the Rich Client now that allows you to kind of have a nice overview of what you have by either employees and see where they can work, or projects and see which employees are available. But we're excited going down that web apps line, which you will again hear more about in the other room. We will come up with a web interface that allows you to view either by project or by employee in a nice dashboard, and allow you to say, yes, I have a project to work on this convergence session, SL 2015, and I will assign Jason the task of learning how to do payroll.
I don't think that's a good idea.
And he will not track his time against it, but we will be able to see on screen that Jason is or is not available. So you're saying to me you're not.
I will not be available.
I will see that he's not available, and I will assign it to Larry here in the front row.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you. In fact, actually, we'll assign it to Ruth Ann since she's here.
Okay.
Okay, even better, even better. So, again, very, very excited about it. We've had, 80 to 90% of what you needed already in the system. We're excited to be able to open this up to you. Now, we will not be going over creating an entire Gantt chart and all the things that you see initially in the Microsoft project side, but we'll give a lot of great information that you can have better access to. Jason?
All right, so in accounts payable, we've been able to improve the audit of the vendor name. So when you cut checks, we always stored the vendor ID, which is great to have that included on your check, but we now are also including the vendor name. So now not only do you have the vendor ID, you have the vendor name to improve your audit capabilities to make sure that the checks are cutting to the right people, right?
Excellent. Very good point. Love the audit. Very good stuff.
Very important. Has anyone else noticed that Jeff floats in and out of his
I
accent
have not noticed
from this morning?
Has anyone noticed?
Kind of like Kate Winslet in Titanic. I don't know if you've listened to that, but he's really struggling
and
today.
a swing
Please.
and a miss.
Yeah, it was.
To you, Mr. Jason.
She did. I mean, I don't know if you watched Titanic, but
Okay, I believe you. I believe you. The next feature we're going to talk about is backup withholdings for our 1099 lovely vendors and keeping compliant. Now, one of the things that we've added to the AP setup screen is now you can decide whether, again, you want to use this feature or not. Again, you can choose to turn it on and off based on your company's needs. You can also set the backup withholding percentage, which is usually 28, or in this case of this screenshot, 5. And then you can go ahead and either disable the backup warning, which means you don't want to be told all the time that, hey, this person is going to have a backup withholding. We're going to let you know before we go out. Well, you might want that at first to make sure you understand how the system works. But once you get cruising along through the fiscal year, you might say, I trust this system. It's doing, of course, what I asked it to do. And I can go ahead and disable that. You'll also let us know what are the accounts and sub-accounts that we should use in our backup withholding. Very neat here is that as you enter this information and save it, it then will prompt you, do you want me, now that you're turning on this feature, to go through all of your vendors and check and look for any missing tins? If it finds that information, it will find that and flip the switch for you automatically. Which switch is it flipping? Well, it's the one that we have on our new vendor maintenance screen. So you have the ability to go ahead and turn on and off the ability to calculate your backup withholdings. And you also have your TIN incorrect notice, whether you want to set that to once or to twice based on your needs. And you can set that up for each of your vendors. Now, okay, we've done the AP setup. It's automatically going to set my vendors. Now I go through my vendors and make sure that I'm fine with them. Maybe fix a few items on my tins. This is fine. I can turn this off. So now, I'm now in the vendor. I'm now in the voucher and adjustment entry screen. Is this you that I'm taking? Am I totally
No,
taking
this
your
is still
piece?
you.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. So
You're
I
good.
open up and I choose a vendor that's been set up to have this backup withholdings. Boom. It's going to tell me, hey, Jeff or Jason, by the way, the vendor that you've chosen, the flag's flipped. There's some issue with their tax ID number. Okay, great. Good to hear. Glad to know. Next is when I actually release the batch. It's going to do the same thing, saying, hey, by the way, we're going to go ahead and create a backup withholdings. Now, again, at first, you're probably, when you're starting to use this new feature, you're going to want these warnings. But as you go forward, we can turn that off in AP Setup, so we no longer have to see these messages over and over again. But of course, as you first implement it, you'll want to understand how this is going to work.
So we saw the examples here in the voucher and adjustment entry screen, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the only screen that you'll see those? No, it's not. As a matter of fact, see, I led into that next slide.
That was great. That was great.
Oh yeah, it's not my first rodeo. We've also got the quick voucher and prepayment entry, as well as the distributed liability screen, which is where you'll also see those warnings.
Excellent, excellent.
Huh? Oh, hey, guess what else?
What?
We've got a new transaction type, everyone. I thought BM was a good one, but it's not a BM. It's a BW, which makes sense. Backup withholding, not
We've lost them.
backup
Jason, I'm
withholding.
sorry. We have lost them.
So you
They
will
are all
see that
sleeping.
in the vendor maintenance screen under the Documents tab. So you will see those transactions. So you'll have visibility into that. You'll also see in vendor history, we added a new column so that you can track your period-to-date backup withholdings.
Sound good?
Huh?
Excellent,
All
excellent.
right.
Jason, I feel that at this point in the presentation, that we may have lost our friends.
A little bit?
A little bit. It's a lot to take in. Now, as you know, this is being recorded.
Oh, it is?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
With that, you'll also be able to hear this, but also see the PowerPoints. Now, Jason, could you kind of help me wake up the crowd here?
Sure.
Can you get me, would you guys like to hear a little Jandolf here for the next one, yes?
Oh, no, not
Yes.
everybody knows who Jandolf is. No, 'cause I see no. I see a lot of no's.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, sorry. Okay.
Okay, go
So,
on.
moving on, we also have the, we're going to talk about the ability to preview your invoices in the invoice and
Jason,
memo
I
screen.
did not see that coming.
Yeah, well, hey, you got to do what the crowd wants, right?
It's
I'm a
true,
crowd
it's true.
pleaser.
They win.
So you can preview those invoices from the invoice and memo screen. Keep in mind that those batches have to be unreleased batches. Otherwise, there's no point in previewing a batch that's already been completed. So you once you click the invoice preview button, you'll be able to see the preview of the invoices, and you can see that if I had multiple invoices in that batch, I would be able to toggle between all the invoices in the batch. So that's very nice, but we went a step further using Quick Query. Isn't that right? Is that how you pronounce it?
Query?
Quick Query?
Yes.
Query.
Yes.
Using Quick Query, you have this ability to see all of your unreleased invoice batches. Click between them, you can see the individual invoices for each batch, and not only can you see them, if you see a mistake like we see here, you have the ability to drill back to the invoice and memo screen to edit that batch. Perfect. Huh?
Excellent. We like this?
Wonderful. Gail's with us. She loves it.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Gail. Excellent. Very good. Very good. The next one, accounts payable, prepayments. I've received multiple prepayments, or Larry, as you said, what we were calling them? Prepayments, yes. That's not what he said earlier, isn't it? Installments,
Yeah, that's
thank
what
you.
we were talking about.
That's what you said earlier. I was trying to bring you in. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's paying so much close attention, as you all are. So you have multiple installments that you receive. Now, in the past, what would happen if you had multiple? Well, you could apply one. but that was it. So an adjustment has been made to the database. So no longer are you limited to one. You can now go in there and you see the name has even changed. And Jason, I know your love for buttons. What does that button change to?
What does it change to?
What is it called now?
It's the multiple prepayments button. What do you mean?
Never mind, never mind. Now you can add as many as you like.
I was reading a text. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't paying attention.
All right.
Sorry.
Welcome, welcome. All right. With that, great new feature being able to do that. Now with this next area, Jason, that I've assigned to you.
Yes, I did a lot of work on this. We're going to talk about the payroll enhancements. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I'm kind of a distribution guy, so I don't know anything about payroll. So I was able to recruit Ruth Ann Ellerbrock to be here today to help us talk about these features. She may not realize that's why she's sitting here in the audience, but that is
Yes,
exactly
that is it. That's why we
what
set you
Ruth
right
Ann
next
is
to
here
the
for. Can we
microphone.
give Ruth Ann a hand, please? Put your
Give
hands
her a
together.
hand.
Yes.
I'd start right there so we can get you mic'd.
Yeah.
Right there.
You don't
Right
have to get up on stage. It's
Okay.
All right.
Probably
So
already.
the big goal of payroll is to what?
Shorten the procedures and make it easy. That is the
Excellent.
goal. So
Excellent.
we all make mistakes, right? And in payroll, how many chances you get? One chance, right? And if you mess it up, your employees are going to let you know about it. They're not shy, right? And if you're the payroll person, where do they go? They come into the payroll person's office and they stand right here. Where's my paycheck and why isn't it right? So our goal was to make it so easy when there is an error. And a lot of times the error is not on your behalf, it's on the employee's behalf. So what we've done is taken a lot of that input and made it easy to fix those situations. So let's walk through them. So the first one, recalculate and review edit. So you get into fixed percentage deductions and somebody comes back and says, you know, I really didn't want that garnishment taken this time. I need a little bit extra money to pay my electrical bills because it's been super cold this year. And you need to adjust it just before you cut the checks. Now you can go into review edit. You can make the change. And then it'll come back up with a button that says recalculate. Do you have all these screens or?
I just have this one, the
This one?
change in
Okay.
procedures.
Okay, so
Sec-
let me talk through how they work then.
Yes, thank you.
So it's going to come up with a button that says, do you wish to recalculate it? You'll say yes, and then there'll be another button to recalculate, and it will automatically refresh all of those deductions for you. How's that sound?
Wonderful.
All
Now,
right.
in payroll, just to add to what Jeff and Jason are talking about, in payroll, when you like something, you say yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So if you like what we're saying,
Thank you.
you
We'll do
have
that.
to say yes, 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 or I sit back down and we don't share anything.
Oh, please. Oh,
Oh,
we will
no,
do
no,
it.
no, no.
No.
Say yes, yes,
no.
yes.
Say yes, yes, yes. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Ask him again.
So do you like what you're seeing?
Yes,
Yes. Yes.
All right, you guys are awesome. Awesome. How do you guys do payroll?
Excellent.
Take it.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Okay. So in the current procedure, you have to go into review edit. You have to go in and make the change. You have to manually calculate what your adjustment's going to be. Then you have to go in and make that manually change that in the deduction screen. Then you have to go in and adjust the subject wages, the subject earnings to, year-to-date earnings to. And then you also need to revise that specific deduction amount. Going forward, you go into the screen, you review the new option, you edit the exact deduction you want to change. The button comes up, you click it, you're done. And you're ready to go in and print at that point. So,
Excellent. Yes,
Sweet.
yes, yes.
all right.
Sorry.
Number 2. So how many of you guys ever had to void a check, a payroll check?
Never.
Right? It's a pain, right? And you have to watch what quarter you're in. You have to make sure that you're going to file to the government correctly and everything. Now you're going to be able to reissue the check very easily, and especially if you're a project user. If you're using Project Series today, you have to push those transactions, those timesheet transactions, over to payroll through Pay Labor interface. And if you have to void a check, it voids those transactions all the way back to project. With this change, you won't have to do that. So flip to the next one.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So Currently, you void the check, you run calculations, you have to go back and re-enter the timesheet, run pay labor interface, run calculations. Going forward, you're going to void the check. Those transactions are going to be flagged to be eligible for a timesheet that is eligible to be calculated. You'll recalculate and make your changes. And if you need it, that's typically why you're voiding a check. That or somebody's lost it and you just need to simply recalculate it. Just go back in, recalculate it, print them, and you're done. It's that easy. Do you like it?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Hey, Joe. No.
Thank you.
Huzzah!
Yes, in this session. The next one is the sense of true gross-up checks.
That's disgusting.
So, yeah.
Oh, I'm
It's
sorry.
gross.
Oh, that's
It
really
was.
gross.
It's gross.
It was.
We fixed it.
Oh, thank you.
Gross, now we made them up. They're better, more positive. So we're taking steps forward. So a couple of versions back, we put in a screen called net check entry. And the intent of that was to let you manually calculate a check and determine what that check needed to be broken down to. And you could enter all of that information. But that's just not very efficient, right? Who wants to sit and calculate it when you bought a system? So now what we're going to allow you to do is go in and say, I want to give Jeff and Jason a $1,000 bonus today because
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
So now you can go in and you can assign in net check entry. So it's the same screen that you're used to. Go in and put in the net check amount, and it will automatically calculate what all of those deductions should be for you. At that point, you're ready to print that check. How do you like that?
Yes, yes, yes.
How do you guys like that? $1,000 bonus.
I love it.
Know about it.
Thank you so much.
Oh
I'm
my gosh,
honored.
thank you.
Honored. You all heard it, so she can't get out of it.
Exactly.
So here you can see that, the steps that we've reduced, and you can read those. I won't read those to you, but I just talked through that. It's the same concept, but it's really about making it easy, and that's really what we say in the office. It's that easy. We're really looking to make the process of fixing problematic issues for a payroll person that easy. And then the last thing is change audit. So a lot of times when you're in there, you need to know, when did we give someone a pay rate change? Or when did a rate table change? Or when did an employee's status change? And now we've added an audit table so that when you go in and make those changes, certain fields will trigger the audit to be active, and then it's going to give you a field becomes active on that screen. It's a comment field, and you can denote why you made that change. That will be written to a table, and then you're going to be able to see that in a report. We wrote a change audit report, so you'll be able to run that. So when your auditors come in and they say, oh, I see that Jason is now making $5 more, what happened? Or maybe there was some sort of a deduction change, a rate table. States are constantly making changes. It is very difficult to keep up with it, the rate at which they're making these changes. But you can go in and see when that change was made, and you'll be able to run a report. Right there is to your auditor. Your auditor's no longer in your face. How do you like that?
Yes, yes, yes.
Awesome. So so that was just saying before you didn't have any way to know.
Sorry.
Now you have all the information.
Now,
It's payroll.
where can they get great information about the new features that you just talked about and all about payroll? Ruth Ann?
Say on Thursday, you guys have got to come to the best session in the house, this conversion.
Ruth Ann, who happens to be running that session?
Well, David Subri, actually.
Who's really running that session, Ruth Ann?
Well, I'm going to assist him.
Okay, so please attend this session on Thursday at 3:30, where Ruth Ann will be able to give you even more wonderful information about payroll and the wonderful enhancements. Can I have a round of applause for Ruth Ann Ellerbach? Thank you. Wow.
Awesome.
Jason, did you take notes, I hope, on this?
Good job.
Because I don't think she's going to be here next hour.
Well, we hope she will be.
Okay, all right. The next enhancement to Microsoft Dynamics SL 2015 is enhancing our PV lookup screens. So, quick query. It's everywhere. It's everywhere you want to be. Isn't that what they say?
That is what they say.
So what we've done is now when you do your PV, not only will you see your lookup list as you've seen in the past, but it does have a new fresh look to it. And it also has the ability to go up and sort and filter on the fields that are in the header. So now we can sort and select by those fields, finding the data. You still have the old functionality to click on the columns and have it sort and change. But now they have changed to this new look. Now, just because we've changed the look, we haven't changed the way that you can edit them. So if you are big into editing your PVs, we have not changed that process. That still remains the same. It just uses this new and fresh look to look up your information. The next feature, Quick Query. How many people here use Quick Query? Excellent, excellent. One of the features of Quick Query is the ability that, yes, we ship you over 100 different wonderful views into your data, but we assume that you, as users, will continue to enhance them and create your own. Now, one of the issues with that is that when you would go to look for a new SQL view that you just created, you'd have this huge long list and you had to scroll to get to that one. Well, we're happy to say that we've added search capability to that SQL view lookup area. Now we can type in values, look for them, get to them quicker. So now we can add additional views. Now, from those of you in the crowd that use Quick Query, did you know you could add your own custom views? Yes, very good. Again, if you're not using Quick Query, a great product. And it is pronounced how, Jason?
Well, I mean, Jeff says Quick Query. I say Quick Query.
You say
tomato.
Potato. Let's call the whole thing off, please.
Okay, let's
All
do
right.
that.
Next feature. Man, we are just nothing. Flatlining. Ruth Ann, can you come up and do that again? Yes. Lost it. We've lost that love and feeling.
It's okay.
Jason, we've lost that love and feeling.
We're rolling. No, you didn't.
Yes, we did. I think we lost that love and feeling.
I hate it when you do that.
The next feature.
You never close your eyes
Thank you.
anymore when I kiss your lips. Anyway, all right. Copy to table, Jeff.
Exactly. The recording of this would be great.
Recording, jeez. Oh, man.
Great. I'm glad we're recording this. The next one is Quick Query Enhancement, which you saw quickly this morning with Pat. Again, big thing with Grid to Excel is the ability to export your data right into an Excel document. Lovely feature. But of course, what happens when you do that is just text being thrown into an Excel document. Of course, that means that as soon as you do that, any minutes later when the database changes, the information isn't quite so relevant. So we have added the ability to automatically create a connected Excel document, which means it's connected right to your SL database. So we can do a connection, a query table, and a pivot table. And actually, let's go ahead and do this right now in a demonstration. So let's see this live. And if you have any questions about what you are seeing, we would be happy to answer your questions. All right, so here we are. We're in Quick Query. The big thing, as we said before, is you still have the same functionality as you have today. We're not taking that away. And when you see copy to table, what that means is we're just taking the data as you see it and putting it into an Excel file. That's great. The next one is just to take and create your SQL connection. Now, this is the biggest question. This is the hardest thing to do. When you are using Excel, many people in this room, in fact, one sitting in the front row right here, is the fact of making that SQL connection to your SL data. There's lots of hoops you kind of have to jump through. You have to understand the SQL side of it. How do you create the SQL statement? You have to understand the connection side. How do I get the right access rights? And I just want it for me. How do I do all that stuff? Luckily for us, we are doing that all for you. So as I am logged into the system and I am creating this Excel document, I now have access rights to open that up and refresh it at any time. So the second option here that says connection, all it's going to do, and we'll see a section what that looks like, all it's going to do is create a connection and a blank Excel file. It's now up to you to do with it what you like. The second option, which we can see, is the query table. As I click on query table, it's going to ask me a few items. One, as you guys know, in Quick Query, one of the great features of Quick Query is not just to display data, but to also add filters on top of it. So I could add a filter where I only want to see items where the release value is 1. And as I tab off that, you see automatically it is adjusting for that. Now, what I can do is say, yeah, I would love to see this report all the time. I don't want to have to log into Dynamics SL to see the results of this. So I click on the button. It says, what would you like to do, Jeff? Would you like to grab all of the data that is currently available in this view, or do you want me just to show you what you've filtered out? So if I choose filtered, all it's going to do is show me what's currently showing on the quick query right now. The other option is columns. As you guys are very familiar with this process, or maybe you're not, is that you can go through and we can hide fields. So for example, I wanted to go ahead and remove this field or add a field. I have the whole column chooser. I can do whatever I want. Make this quick query view look the way that I need it, not just the way that it comes out of the box. So with that, again, when I'm creating my quick query connection, I can choose, yes, I want all the columns that have been defined, or I just want the ones that are on the screen right now. Next, for workbook, it'll default to creating a new one. The worksheet, it will give it a default name. Of course, we can edit that. And we can also tell us where do you want to start inputting this into. So you do have the option to choose exactly which cell you want it to start off. All I do is click on the Create button. As I click Create, it's created my Excel document for me in the background here. And there we have it. Voila, we have it. It looks very similar. Okay, Jeff, this looks like the first feature. What's different about this that we've had? Well, you're right. If you look under these little tabs, you're going to see the same thing. I can go ahead and choose exactly which fields I want to see. Maybe I only want to see these right here. And of course, Excel will listen to me and show me that information. Perfect, perfect. But what's different, Jeff? Well, what it means is that if we go under the Data section, and we have a new Connections tab. And under the Connections and under the Definitions, you'll see what I've been talking about. Under the connection string, it's creating all of that stuff that you don't want to ever have to know about. How does it connect? Who are you? What do you have access rights? Now, what it's using, it's based on your access rights to the quick query. If you have access rights to quick query, which you understand, we can set that up. If you have access rights to that quick query, we're going to assume that you have access right to that Excel file that you're going to create. Does all that for you. And Larry, can you request that? That's not always a fun thing to do.
It's not. This is very, very slick.
Very, very slick. Secondly, what's the SQL statement to find all this data? Larry's taught himself, I think, how to do the select statements. But wouldn't it be great if we could automatically do it for you? Is that slick too?
It's very slick.
Very slick. Very slick. So with that in mind, it's created now. Okay, Jeff, that's great, but what does this mean to me? Well, this means that as soon as I save this and I close out of it, and it's the next day, and I open up this report, this data is not dead. I can come back to this tab, click the Refresh All button, it will automatically update this Excel file. I no longer have to go to Quick Query and keep on kicking data out into an Excel document. It's automatically going to do it for me, and it's always refreshable. What do you think about that? Ruth Ann, what would we say? Yes. If it was payroll, what would you say? Yes, yes, yes. Excellent, excellent. Now, the last one to show off for this. This is the one that I will promote a session on this later, is creating a pivot table. Now, similar items at the top. We have the ability, again, to choose which columns we want, the workbook, and so forth. We can choose which columns we want to use for our pivot table. And then again, we go ahead and click on the Create button. Different look. What's going to happen here is we'll see that it's created a pivot table, and then we can start dragging and dropping fields into the report filter to what we want to display on screen, all the stuff. So if you are pivot table creators, we have a wonderful, wonderful tool for you to begin to start to create your pivot tables. If you've never used them before, I've always heard about them. I can recommend a wonderful session on pivot tables this week. It's happening on Thursday at 9 a.m. We will go through the features that we just showed you real quickly here on Quick Query, and then we will spend a good chunk of the time going into the details of what's so great about these pivot tables and how do you use them to your benefit. We will have a whole good chunk of our time that Gail Jones, sitting at Jones Neath in the front, will be going through. So I implore you, it is a wonderful session to come to and learn the values of not just what we did here. We'll do a little bit more. We'll talk about if maybe you've never used Quick Query in the past. We'll show you how that feature works. Talk a little bit more about how you can add your own custom. And then we'll go into the deep of showing you around pivot tables. So something I highly recommend. Next, to make the world even more incredible, we will now be taking Quick Query, which you currently have to run inside of Dynamics SL, and make it available on the web. So, no longer is it limited there. You will be able to give people access rights to run it. And you see it has a similar look and feel to the web apps, but also similar to what you see in Quick Query. So now, I did say that weird, Quick Query. Quick Query,
Quick
Quick
Query.
Query,
That's
Quick
right,
Query.
Jeff. Quick
Okay,
Query.
thank you. Excellent. So, again, a new thing that will be coming out. This is a prototype of it, how it will look, and it'll give you that same type of idea to filter and see the information that's available to you.
Pretty sweet, Jeff.
Pretty sweet, pretty sweet. Jason.
Hey, so, you know, in the past, whenever you had to synchronize ownership of your database, this is already getting rave reviews, you now have the ability to synchronize specific application databases rather than, oh wow, that's a big one.
Wow.
Well, you should have led with that one.
We should have started with that, exactly.
Man, that's a good one.
Can we do a do-over?
Slow clap. Oh,
Slow clap?
that's, you got to leave to the slow clap. I'm out. Drop the mic. I'm done. Anyway, so yes, pretty awesome. Very excited to offer that for sure.
Jason?
Well, we're also removing BSL. Does anybody still use BSL customizations? Anybody in the room? No one. Okay. Moving on.
Moving on, yes.
No, but somebody might be listening, so I'll just talk to this guy. Just bear with me.
How
here.
funny the deck wasn't updated. Yes, it does allow a runtime version of BSL to run.
Oh, Pat's checking on that, and yes.
Hey,
as a matter
Pat,
of
can you
fact, it
get
does.
Pat from across the
So
room?
those listening.
Pat's in the other room. Ask him. The
everybody
answer
else-
is yes. I apologize. It appears that we have not updated. Did you get it?
No one here is using BSL, so I'm just talking to you directly.
Jason?
You now, I'm just going to finish. Just
Okay.
1 second. You will be able to convert your BSL customizations
Yeah.
to VBA.
Oh,
So-
this is for the people listening in.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
This is
okay,
for the
okay.
people
Guys, just
listening.
hold tight for a
later.
second.
Just 1 second. So yes, and you will be allowed to use the runtime version of BSL. Pat checked on it. It worked out.
He did. It did.
Okay, we're back.
We're back.
All right, everybody. There's more changes.
Just a couple last ones. We have removed the last of our VB6 code. So if you're an old programmer here, well, Ruth Ann, it is gone? It is gone. We now support .NET 4.5, which we're, I know, exciting. Let's give me a little yes to that on that. Ready?
Yes.
We will also support for your developers the Visual Studio 2012 we support, and we also are compatible with Visual Studio 2013. You also notice for you implementers in the audience, you will notice that we do have a brand new installer program, a internal Microsoft one that we are using now. That will be the new way. And also the thing you'll notice for all the people that are out there, when you do an implementation, it does ask you what are you using? Are you using BRL or modular base? And then you have to go and click off, I want this module, which was exactly what you needed to do in 1992 because you only had about 100 megabytes of space. So you didn't want to have those extra files sitting out there. Well, I apologize, that is gone. So there's no longer a need for it to click every single module. It will automatically install them all. So as you continue to see the wonderful functionalities, we can go, oh, I'd love to have that feature. When you install 2015, the code will already be there. So a nice add-on as well. Now, we threw this in there because it is talking about SL 2015. As you heard this morning, we are laser pointing our focus on providing you with an alternative to the business portal. And I feel with all the items listed right here, being able to set up your project, assign people to it, do your budgeting, change your budgeting, approve your budgeting, set your project max and mins, Delegate your approval to other people. Do invoice approval, all those things. And a big one here, be able to do project timesheet entry, something that you can't do on the business portal. So we're not just focused on business portal, but we want to at least replicate those items, but we're going to add new things. Now, what is that for? Well, if you're in construction and you're on site and you've got a person who's just in charge of putting in everybody's time, you don't have them to log in and out of SL as one person. We'll be able to do that with this timesheet entry. Item requests with the requisitioning module, probably one of the best modules ever written.
Good job, Jeff.
Thanks, it's mine. We'll be adding access to item requests and item request approval for the web apps, as well as that resource management that we talked about earlier. Now, I can tell you with the SL web apps that you're about to go over and learn about, we've had, this is, what happened with web apps is what should happen in every beta. The beta process is where we deliver you a solution, you test it, and then you provide us feedback on, great, this works exactly how I like it, great, works almost exactly like I like it. If you could just do this, then you'd have me all the way. And that's what's happened with the web apps that you guys are about to go see. We've had wonderful, wonderful participation by our customers and by our partners. So the web apps that we're releasing, we feel wonderful about because we've had some great feedback on things that works great, but I need this. Works great, but I'd love to have this. And I'm so excited that we've been able to, and Ruth Hand and her team has been able to respond to those items and make them available. So when you go and you start seeing those things, know that the reason why you might say, wow, this is exactly what I wanted, is because we got direct feedback from you, the customers and partners.
Speaking of feedback, Jeff, we have a question.
Yes. Thank you. I couldn't finish my beta talk.
Well, no, this is important.
Okay, this is more important. Yes.
So is there anything that I am losing from Business Portal that's
Sure.
not in web apps?
Very good question.
Is that only in 2011 web apps or is that in 2015 web apps?
These are great questions, great questions. Will we be replicating every single business portal feature? The answer is no. We are not going to, we've basically worked with our customers and partners to say, if there, I'm just coming up with a fictitious number, if there are 125 features in Business Portal, we know that we've talked to it that there really are probably only about 50 that people actually use. The query features, some of the old functionalities out there, people just aren't using that. So for our project people, yes, most definitely, that project functionality will be moved over to the web apps. Other areas outside of that people don't really use a lot, we've decided that, well, if you're not using it, we're not going to focus our time on trying to make something. Now, in a lot of cases, you might be asking about reporting. Well, of course, now we're going to have quick query available. We're going to have the reports available. So we are answering a lot of those areas. So, but basically, the chunk of functionality that people are really using will be available to you. When will it be available? Well, with SL 2011, we will get you time entry, expense entry, time and expense approval, project analyst availability, all on SL 2011. So it just means that you need to be on SL 2011 Service Pack 2, latest version of Service Pack 2. If you are on that, you can implement the web apps. Kind of jumping on their band, what they're going to tell you about, but basically web apps and Business Portal can exist at the same time. So if you are wanting to move off of the Business Portal, implement the web apps, same server, different location. Now, start comparing them. Ah, great. Can I do this? Yes. Can I do that? Give yourself a great way to upgrade is to do that whole process. Have them both running. Make sure you're happy with it before you decide to move from the Business Portal to the web apps. With the 2011 items, that's all we're going to be releasing is those items, time, expense, approvals, and project analysts. In 2015, that's when we add all the other additional features that are currently in project, in a Business Portal for project. That's the one that we're going to invest in and have a lot of things come out with 2015. So for those, you do need to be on SL 2015. But the big items like the time and expense, everything you saw today, that is available and will be available for 2011. Wonderful question. I'm glad you both stopped me. Thank you. Thank you. Now, make sure everyone writes this down. Ruth Ann Ellerbach, there's her email address. When you email her, start off your email with yes, 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 and then ask her if you can be on the beta program. We would love to have you. I think we had one more question. Yes, over here. Perfect question. If I already have the business portal and I have a 100 user, 200 user business portal license, now I'm moving over to web apps. Do I need to buy an additional? The answer is no. As long as you have your light user license, which you already have for business portal, you can now use those same licenses to access the web apps. Gail, sorry. We will take that one offline. We'll have to understand what you mean by ditching it. So yes, we can talk about that. Because remember, you have no light user licenses. Okay, then yes,
You'll
you
need
will have to
those.
purchase those. You do need those. A light user license, yes. Yes, question. I'm sorry, where is the portal?
Where's business portal?
Yeah, that is the current plan, yes. That we will not be moving business portal up to 2015. We did actually, and I don't know if we announced it over there, we did, this month we were releasing a hot fix that will make business portal run on top of on top of SharePoint 2013. So that's going to be implemented and available later this month. It's a separate version of business portal because it took the team that works on that a little bit longer. It took them a little while because of the difficulties of getting SharePoint and the old. Remember, Business Portal has probably been around for a good 10, 15 years. It's an old guy. And the reason why we're going to web apps in the first place is that it's limited. You can only run it on an Internet Explorer machine, on a Windows machine, to be able to get to Business Portal. With the web apps, we remove all that. You saw Pat was demonstrating today, and it looks wonderful on an iPad. Same with an Android or Windows and items. So you will be able to do that. Yes? Is there a good question? Is there a conversion from Business Portal? The only change really for you as far as, there's two things. Conversion meaning when I go from Business Portal to web apps, all that Business Portal setup that you had to do by assigning users, that's gone. So what happens is that the extra step that you do need to take, and I apologize, I'm totally going off subject, but what you need to do is you need to assign the SL user, assign them to your project employee. There's a Have you created custom business portal queries? No, but you can use QuickQuery to be able to do that as well. So we'll take that offline. I'm going to take your questions offline because I see that I'm out of time. But Jason and I will be available. We're going to be here next hour. So if you have any additional questions. With that, this has been recorded. So the most important thing you need to do is we all need to yell our names. So when you listen to this, you know that you were there. So would you do that with me?
Prove it to your boss that you were here.
Prove to your boss. Ready? So I will be quiet. Would you mind yelling your name? Okay. Once-ly, twice-ly, thrice-ly? Your name. Your name was there.
Done.
He's wonderful. He's wonderful. Well, thank you all very much for your time today.
What about the next step?